everyone, welcome back to the Midwest Stitches YouTube channel. My name is Danielle and this is my channel where I talk all about my crafting adventures. It's been a couple of weeks since my last episode and I have so much to catch you up on. Life gets in the way sometimes. I really need to create a schedule and stick to it, but in my mind when I want to record an episode, I feel like, oh, it's going to be too short, or I'm not going to have enough to share, or something like that. So I just need to let that go and record every week or every 2 weeks on a schedule so that, I have more consistency with my channel. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram at midwest.stitches. And you can find all of my project pages on Ravelry for my knit and crochet projects at Midwest Stitches, if you want to follow me over there. Okay, so let's just jump right on in. There are so many things over here. Okay, so first up, we're going to start with, I think these socks were on the needles first. Okay, so these are my Lucky Charms socks. And this yarn is Pumpkins and Wool. She no longer dyes yarn, at least under that name. I don't think she dyes yarn at all anymore, but this was Pumpkins and Wool Lucky Charms sock set. I didn't use the mini for these. And funny story, I forgot to mention this the last time when I had the first one finished. I accidentally started knitting these with a 2.25 millimeter needle, which if you've seen previous episodes or looked at any of my project pages for my socks, which these kind of short socks I do all of the time, they're mostly for me. I knit my socks with a 2 millimeter needle, normally 64 stitches for the cast on. I'd already packaged up the bag, took it in the car with me, realized that I didn't have the right needles and I didn't have a project to work on. So instead of waiting for the right needles, I just used these ones that I had. And I decided, okay, it's a bigger needle. Why don't I try 56 stitches? Because whenever I used 2.25 in the past on any old socks, when I first started knitting socks, they were always too loose, too big. My gauge was just too much for 64 stitches. So for these ones, I tried 56, and they fit me, like, just the same as the others. So that was, it was completely accidental, but it was a good experiment because now I have all these 2.25 millimeter needles just hanging around, and I never use them, and it's kind of good to know that I could knit a smaller size with a bigger needle, just a slightly bigger needle, and get the same results. And obviously there's less stitches, so they go faster. I didn't weigh these to see if they take up less yarn. But anyway, when I knit them, I went ahead and did a 32 row heel flap like I normally do. I didn't do 30 just because I wasn't sure how the two less rows of a heel flap would mess with the sock in the way that I'm used to. So I didn't change that from the original way that I do it. And it works out just fine. You just pick up the same amount of stitches, decrease down to whatever, and you're good to go. And then for the toe, I knit to the size I normally do with my sock ruler, measured, and then just added 2 extra rows after that, because if you do a 64 stitch, you obviously have 32 on each needle, and you do, obviously your decreases for the first round, and it decreases it by 2 on each needle. And so I just accounted for that, and just instead of like trying to figure out the new size, I probably could have done that like the inches or whatever, but I just knit to where I normally knit and then just accounted for the extra stitches not being there and added 2 extra rows. No big deal. And they turned out great. So there they are. And then the next pair that I finished, these are also Pumpkins and Wool, and they're going to get really blown out. The light is like, the sun's just in and out from the clouds. So you're not going to They're very lightly colored. Anyway, these are all leftovers. By the way, all the socks were all leftovers in my scrap bin for the month that I showed you the last time. This was called Yellow Shed. And these ones I did have the right needle size, 2mm, 64 stitches. And for all my socks, I always follow the directions from the Crazy Sock Ladies Vanilla Socks on Magic Loop pattern. And these are also for me. Actually, these are all for me. Okay, and then my final pair of socks are a mismatchy pair. And here they are. So originally when I showed my basket of yarn that I was going to use for this month, I had all three of these colors, and I was going to make 2 pairs, one with each color, and then this was going to be the toes for both pairs because I had enough yarn. The toes this color might have extended up this far into these, I don't know. Anyway, this is Yarnable Leftovers. This is Avocardio, Wintry Mix, and Celtic Fairy. And these were all like, this I think was a March colorway from one year. This was a March colorway, and this was a December colorway. So I decided I didn't want to do 2 pairs of socks. I just really wanted to just kind of get them done and just have a pair because I loved all of the colors so much. So I just made a mismatchy pair, and I love them. And same as the others, 2mm needles, 64 stitches. And I think these colors, they all look very good together in some form. So I'll do that one last. I have some works in progress to show you. So I finished another strip for my blanket. Here's one side. I just finished this today. And there's kind of a theme. I used all sock leftovers for this. And I have cut the tail, and I'm ready to, now I can attach it to the blanket. So this will make strip number 5 for my Little Squares knitted blanket. That's a pattern by Julie Harrison. You can find that on, I do have a Ravelry page where the pattern is linked. And let's see, I'm using figuring weight held double. What size? I'm using a 3.5mm needle for this. And this contrast colorway is, it's Cascade Heritage. I don't know the number. I should know the number because I bought quite a bit of it, but it was called Snow, and I bought it on, was it Simply Sock Yarn Co. website? That's where I got it from, and she has it listed by colorways with the numbers. So just look for that if you like this. It's kind of an off-white color. It's not completely tan or cream, but it's not like white. So I think it looks really nice. So I will be adding that into the blanket this weekend, and I will show you what it looks like with the 5 strips the next time. Okay, so now I'm going to show you an amazing update on my DK Hexi Flower Blanket. I'm so happy with this. I finally have a good way forward with it. I know I've said that like the last 2 episodes in a row, but I've like nailed it down to how long it's going to be, like rows, how many more flowers I need, kind of finishing touches, all that stuff. So I'll explain that in a second. Okay, where is the top? Okay, so here we go. I'm just going to hold it up. Here's one side. This is going to be really hard to show. So here's one side. And as you can see, I have added this right here, I'm calling a quarter flower. I tried to do a half flower, but it actually stuck out too much. And I wanted this side to be straight. So it is mostly straight. And you can see here I used a darker colored yarn. This was Cascade Heritage in the camel colorway. And I had it, I wasn't sure how dark it was going to be, and I bought it, so I just decided to use it up in here. Even though it doesn't match, I don't think it looks that bad when you look at it from afar. So here's the rest. And on this side, I also did another quarter flower. So I have 2.5 rows done. So here you can see I have 2 here, and I need to add 2 more. So I've calculated that I would need 4 more rows, 4 more complete rows. So I need 16 more flowers and 4 quarter flowers to complete this. And the top and bottom edge will be scalloped. The sides will be straight, as you saw. And I'm so excited to get to work on new flowers for this now that I've added them all in, and I'm completely out of any kind of joining color in my stash, except for 2 minis, which aren't even full 20 gram minis. I think in total between the 2 there's 20 grams. So that would only get me 2 more hexagons, I think, because they take roughly 7.5 grams of yarn per hexagon, because this is fingering weight held double. So for this, I am going to, I've decided to crochet up all of the rest of my flowers, my quarter flowers, get all of those done up, and then I will buy more joining yarn, and then I will start joining it together. So from here on out, you'll see all of the flowers that I work on them again. I will show all of them as I finish them. And then of course I will show the progress as I join them together. So far the joining color, I think I've used roughly 4 skeins of yarn. 3 of them were from Kimber's Cozy Creations. That's a Pop-Tart crust colorway. And the other one was the Cascade Heritage in Camel, that darker color. So I think if I buy 5 more skeins, I should have enough to finish the blanket off completely. So hopefully that'll be enough, and when the time comes, I can order all of that all at once instead of 1 skein at a time, now that I've got a pretty good idea of how much it's going to take. And there was a couple Hexis in here that I used those mini skeins for, so hopefully 5 will cover me to finish this off, and I won't have to order any extras. So maybe I'll have to do some counting and figure out how many hexagons exactly I need, because you do join them as you go, so that takes up just a little bit extra yarn, but I don't think it takes up a ton of extra yarn. So anyway, that's the update on my blanket. So now this is kind of going to go in hibernation, this portion of it anyway, and then the bag is right there, has all of my skeins of yarn, except for I think I need to add 2 colors to that to get me the 16. And I actually have I have a set of mini skeins, DK mini skeins from Legacy Fiber Arts that I got. I think it was last year. It was like a surprise set or something. And I calculated I can use those for my 4 quarter flowers and use those up, and they're already DK. So I'm super happy about that. And they're very like springtime colorways, and I'm wanting to work with more colorful yarns. So it's exciting to be able to include that in my makes right now, especially with the weather changing. And, you know, I'm not going to want to have this heavy blanket on me, but I can make my flowers. They're small. So it's nice. And then hopefully I will have this done this year. That's my goal. I don't think I will have it done. I wanted it done by May. I don't think that's going to happen. I think a more realistic goal is to have it finished by November. My goal would be to finish it before Advent season. I'm swapping an Advent with a friend. I'm not buying an Advent, but I still want to be able to work with those yarns and that project during that month without having to worry about this. But so that would be my goal, is to get this done by November, end of November, and, you know, check that off and have it complete. It'd be a nice finish to the year. That's the progress on my blanket, and I can't wait to start working on new flowers and show those to you guys. And I will say, I know in previous episodes when I showed the flowers, I was really worried about how they were like all different sizes, because the yarn bases are different, even though it's fingering held double. But so far that has not been an issue in joining them together. It's worked out just fine. The blanket it doesn't have any like weird ripples or bubbling where the size flowers might have been different. It was nice to see all that to come together because I do have a fingering weight version that I'm working on that's currently on hold. And I will pick that back up when I finish this one. But again, those flowers are also different sizes right now. And I was kind of worried that they weren't going to come together and look nice. But, you know, now that I know, when you join them together, it will be fine. I just wanted to throw that out there because I had expressed that concern in previous episodes when I showed the flowers. So that's kind of all my works in progress. So now I want to show you an experiment that I did earlier this week. I'm actually really excited about this. So as you know, I bought all this dishcloth yarn, or if you're new here, you don't know that, but I bought all this dishcloth yarn and I've been experimenting with different patterns and trying to find something that really speaks to me, but also doesn't like, there's not a lot of ends to weave in. There's not a difficult pattern or whatever. So I've been trying various like circle versions, crochet, knit, whatever. And so far I haven't found anything that like, I've done a couple of each and it's just kind of like, okay, this is nice. But like the knit ones that I did that were a circle, or even the Tunisian crochet ones I did, you have to seam them together in the end. And I just really didn't want to do that anymore. I just want to be able to finish a dishcloth up, weave in like 2 ends, and call it good, you know, and it just be a finished product because I really love that, which is weird because I don't mind seaming the strips to my blanket, you know, but I do mind it with this. I don't know. It's just a different process and I don't know why one bothers me more than the other. With the blanket, I find it because it's such a long strip and I have to really kind of sit down and just kind of, you know, chill out on the couch and dedicate a good block of time to seam it together because I want to get it all done at once. Anyway, so I saw a Tunisian crochet pattern on YouTube and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. So I watched it and I thought about trying that, but I was like, okay, let me look and see if there's a knit version. And I found one on Ravelry and it looks like the grandma's favorite dishcloth with the eyelets around the outside, but it's constructed different. You basically make triangles and you kind of go around and you join them together. You don't have to join, but they're like, you knit them as you go in kind of a circle and it basically makes a square dishcloth. And that was a paid for pattern. I did not buy the pattern, but I was inspired by those two and I was like, well, maybe I can just create my own pattern and see how it goes. And I did. So here's the first version of that. It's not, this is the starting and ending point. But you basically, it's, am I showing that wrong? Let's see. This is the, this is the starting point. So you knit and you make a little triangle and then you turn it and then you make another one and turn, and then you get this nice garter stitch edge. And it's just so easy. I did this in less than a day. And I started it late, kind of at night. I finished it the next morning and that was that. And this is the other side. So this is where you pick up and join. And then this, I knit it and joined as I went. Hopefully that made sense. But that is the join. And I completely created this, all of this in my head. Like the counts, the process, like I didn't see any other patterns. I didn't really even look for other patterns, but I just thought this was such a cool concept. And I've already started working on a second version that's bigger and less ends to weave in because I was basically joining here and I had 2 ends to weave in at each corner. So, and one in the middle, the tail. So I didn't like that. And it came out very small. So this is like a coaster size. This is definitely not a dishcloth or cleaning cloth size that we would use because it's smaller basically than, it's like as big as my hand, that's it. So I'm working on a different size and a few different like modifications to how I did them, just to see. I don't know why, it just came out of nowhere where I was inspired to create my own pattern. Yeah, I love it. And I can't wait to see a bigger version. And I think this, like in a really big version, would look so cute as a pot holder. Like make 2 of them and basically seam them together. I think that would be amazing with like a little loop. And I might do that because I do have so much cotton yarn to get through. I will update you guys on that. should have a second test version of that the next time that I come on here, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the second version turns out, and if it's something that I like, or if I have to change it, you know, kind of tweak the pattern. If that's something you guys are interested in, if you think this is like a cute little pattern, I could write it up and put it out there. I'd probably just put it out there for free. That's all of my projects. That's quite a bit for the last couple of weeks, but I've just been plugging away on the socks that I had set out for the month. Oh no, that's not all my projects. I completely forgot about these socks that I told you I was making. This is the Area 51 Fibers Baby Yoda Frap. So I'm just going to show one, but I have them both going and they are both at the same point. I finished the toe and the foot. I'm knitting them toe up, and the toe, actually let me show you this way, it'll look cooler. There's the toe. Hopefully you can see that. It is a star toe. There we go. So this toe pattern is paid for. The instructions are paid for. It is from the star-toed or star-toe Fleagle socks from Very Pink Knits. So that's where I got the instructions from. I bought that pattern years ago. I won't give away any details on that. If you want a star toe pattern, I'm sure there's others online, but I think most of them I've seen are cuffed down. So she did a toe up version. Now I can work on the heel portion of these, which I'm doing something completely different. I'm not gonna tell you what that is now, just because I think it will be cooler to show you it when it's done. These are really my focus project right now for the rest of the month. I want to get these done. These are kind of the last pair that I'm doing for the month of March. So I've got basically a week and a half, or actually I guess it's 10 days. Yeah. Anyway, 10 days left of the month to complete these. I'm hoping I can do that. And next time I can show you the experiment with those, what I did, and I'm excited about that. So sorry for just kind of being mysterious. It's not like a pattern that I'm creating or anything like that. It's just something I saw years ago on an Instagram page, and I've been dying to try it. And it's basically the perfect thing to do for self-striping yarn. And when I finish those, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's all that. And I don't have any mail to show you, but the last thing I wanted to show today is I have already, I know I'm a little early, but I couldn't help myself. I've already packaged up my April basket of yarn for socks. And I've picked 4 different colorways. I know it doesn't look like 4, it looks like a lot more, but this is, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 sock set. Yeah, so it's 5. Wait, yeah, 5. A sock set, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just quickly go over the colors. So these are all like half skeins, like these 2 here. I have half of them in the bag for my crochet blanket. So these are yarnable. This is Somebody Loves You. This is Stormwatch. These were April colorways from previous years. So these are going to be socks. These are all going to be socks for me, of course. This is actually leftovers of a Dragon Horde yarn colorway called Running Up That Hill. And so I'm going to make a pair of socks for me with that. And I think I'm going to use this for the toes. Hopefully I have enough, because I know I don't have enough of this to complete a full pair. I think I would run a little bit short. I need to weigh that. Anyway, and this is a Pumpkins and Wool colorway called Dusty, I think it's Dusty Blue and Cabernet. And then this is a Legacy Fiber Arts colorway that I just got in the mail earlier in the month. It is the Schitt's Creek Club colorway called Spark It Up Rolly. And I caked it up today, and I absolutely love it. Like, I think I showed it the last time, but it caked up. It's so spring with all of the colors. I think they're going to be gorgeous. And I love this purple, shade of purple they put as the mini. So, this is my April goals for socks. And I plan on working, obviously, from this basket and working on my crocheted flowers. And then, of course, as usual, when I finish a pair of socks, if there's enough leftovers, I add a square into my little knitted squares. So I'm going to start a new strip and get going on that. That's my April goals coming up. So you'll be seeing all of the bright purple colors. I don't know why, but to me, April is just like purple is just synonymous with April for some reason in my mind. So that's obviously the theme that I'm going with. And I know I'm a little bit crazy, but I've already set out yarns for May. It just kind of helps keep me on track, like doing this method where it's like I fill this basket with yarns for the month that I want to work with. And even if I don't get to them all, it kind of keeps me from shopping and going after the new shiny thing or the new pretty thing that I see online. And two, it helps me work from stash. Like, those go hand in hand. But it helps me work from stash and kind of focus, because if I just kind of look at my stash here on the wall, or I have bins back here with yarn, if I am kind of left with this decision paralysis of looking at it all and trying to figure out what I want to do next, because I want to obviously knit them all. I want to work with them all, and I don't kind of have a plan. I kind of get in this like freeze, like I said, decision paralysis mode where I can't figure out what to do. And then I'm wasting more time just figuring out and thinking. So this helps my brain say, this is what you're working from, just pick the next one and go forth. You could obviously use some other method for that, but that's just what is working for me. And I already have this cute basket that I got a couple years ago, and it's like the perfect size to hold just enough. Like, I don't feel overwhelmed by the amount that I can fit in there. That's going to be all for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel already, hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos. I will see you guys next time. Take care and God bless. Bye.